course, I thought it was flares at first. A bunch of Marines started coming to me. I was able to find them within 36 hours. They saw a craft. So the tip was basically like, something happened and you should look into it. Click. And over a military base, there were a flood of reports that I got of triangle-shaped craft incursions over military bases. Now, I got a tip, a heads up. You know, who you gonna is that I got a tip. So I got a tip from 2 bases at the time, but the tip was basically like, something happened and you should look into it. Click. And I'm like, oh no. Like, but it was, from a high up, so I'm like, something probably did. 2021, I got a tip from a couple bases actually, that there was an event, but that's all that I got. And all of a sudden I was like, how am I gonna get to the bottom of this? Started calling around.
Are you recording these videos? Are you getting these videos? How are people giving you these videos?
Yeah, so over the years, sources come to me with military footage and they tell me, look, this has being released and not being properly reported. So all of these people that came forward to me, they shoot flares. They're telling me these. So that's an open investigation. So usually I'll obtain and release footage that's, from military assets, that kind of thing. This was different. I had about 50 Marines plus that saw something that they didn't know what it was. And the reporting system was so broken, they started coming to me. And this was, I got a tip that there was an event and I should find people that maybe photographed it or filmed it. That's all the information that you can. Upon looking at it the first time, when I got the tip that something unusual happened that night, it was just inky darkness. So this investigation, I have witnesses, direct eyewitnesses come forward to me saying, we saw the body of a craft.
A bit more about that, Jeremy, because I'm sure you get tons of tips all the time. Yeah. How do you go through the process of sorting through what is legitimate, what has, some sort of mundane explanation? What is the process that you go through? Because I'm sure there are people explainable. So take us through what your process is to rule out some of the tips that you receive.
Yeah, thank you for that question, because 99% of my emails every day is like, that's Starlink, that's Venus, people don't understand that I'm skeptical about this probably more than they are, right? Of course it's interesting. I'd love for a good case, but the thing is that when I get information, people say, well, why didn't you release this almost 2 years ago when it came? Because I don't just take something, frivolously throw it up onto the internet and say, hey, check it out. What I do is I take my time. I get to know the people. I make sure their stories don't change over time. I ask them to call their friends, to go collect more data, more information. I vet their DD-214s if they're out of the military. If they're in the military, I have people I can call to confirm their position. I get their fitness reports. I make sure people are who they say they are and that they don't have some agenda to trip me up or to get me to put something out that is fake. So I take my time. My cases take years. The first word people hear from me, if they end up getting through the barriers and we're on the phone, is you got to have patience with me. I'm on cosmic time. This could take years for me to report on it. So that's what I do, Crystal, is just really take my time. And if I have something like this that we got to get to the bottom of it, I can't do it on my own, then I reach out and ask for more information.
I love that. And Jeremy, yeah, I just know it's caught a lot of people's attention. But that night I posted it on Facebook. I went to the Warriors Club and got Wi-Fi. Posted it on Facebook, and it was like maybe 2 pictures and a video, maybe. And I said, I posted the one where you can see the black mass underneath the triangle.
Yeah.
That was one of the pictures. I think that's what got a lot of people's attention. So I post that. I go to sleep. I wake up, check my phone, and this guy, I'm not going to name drop him because he's kind of a big deal. He messages me on Facebook and said, hey, I seen your post. I'd like to call you if that's okay. And I was like, who is this guy? Like, I don't know who he is. I click on his Facebook profile and I click his links and they're all verified. Like his Instagram's verified. He has a documentary on Netflix and his Facebook is covered in like articles about UFOs, especially from military personnel.
And for the audience, to add to Leg's seriousness, this guy's worked with a man named Bob Lazar. So if you guys want to look up who Bob Lazar is, it's like, this is like an actual famous person.
This guy that reached out to me, he did a documentary on Netflix about Bob Lazar. He actually did it with him, not really about him. He interviewed him and everything. What makes this weirder is that I'm not into this stuff. My dad is, which is funny, but I'm not into like UFOs and all that, or Bigfoot, the cryptid, whatever, where I left off. So the guy messaged me on Facebook, wants to talk to me. I look at what he's uploaded and what he's done. It's all verified. And I'm just kind of mind blown, I guess. And I texted him on Facebook. He says, what's your number? I gave it to him. He texts me. And he says, I'd like to call you tomorrow. And I said, okay, that's fine. I call him and I looked up videos before just to verify, the voice and everything. And it's actually him on the phone. And I was like, holy cow. Like, I didn't know who this guy was, but he was on Joe Rogan's podcast with Bob Lazar. And then I seen his Netflix documentary when I looked up his name. So this guy's legit. And he's super into UFOs, and I feel bad because I think they're Illuminati rounds,
Mhm.
or I at least am not sure that they're not Illuminati rounds.
Yeah, what did you tell him when he's like, dude, like you totally saw aliens or something like that? Did you like? I don't want to like don't take it the wrong way, but did you like remain humble about it? Like, yeah, like I don't think like this is what you're looking for. Or did you like totally play along with it because now you're gonna get like your 15 minutes of fame?
No, so I actually, even to this day, well, he hasn't texted me in a couple weeks, but even recently, I've been telling him like, hey, I'm still a little iffy about it. I'm not sure. Like I don't know. But this guy, when he called me, he said that he has friends in the area that are top military officials. He says that he's spoken to a couple people from that area and like in the military or whatever it was, and he
Yeah.
said they all don't know what it is. Said that I still told him like, hey, there's still a possibility that they're loom rounds. Like,
Yeah.
but I have a lot of texts from him, and he's trying to put out a show now on Netflix or whichever station will give him a home. And he wants me to go on there and interview. So I guess when that time comes, he'll put me on there, and then I can show everyone.
Now, one thing I've kind of noticed with it too is like, if I have it right, it sounds like he's very, very convinced that like this is something. Well, yeah, he seems pretty confident that this is definitely like something extraterrestrial, maybe like not something of the world.
At least something abnormal that's not that the average person can't explain. But this guy, the famous guy, he sends me updates still. So this was when was ITX? Like a year ago, over a year ago.
It was around April and May of last year. Or
Yeah,
it was April and May because I drove out there to see you guys like mid-May, right when y'all left.
he still sends me updates. Like I don't text him first, which is funny because you think I would, but he texts me out of the blue all the time. Like, hey, if I'm getting on your nerves, you can just say stop. Like he'll send me updates on UFOs that he releases, and then he'll tell me updates on his show and everything. Like, hey, I'm just looking for a home for my show. It was Netflix, but after he said Netflix, he said I'm looking for a home. So I'm thinking Netflix maybe shot it down. But he does have a documentary on Netflix right now. But if I do go on that show, I'll definitely let you know. And then since it'll be public anyways, I'll just maybe if you want to do a part 2.
Oh hell yeah, that'd be amazing.
But so I guess he talked to a lot of from what I understand, and then he told me if it got verified through the Pentagon, because he remember the video of the Navy guy through night vision. He saw, I think it was a Navy pilot. He saw like a triangle in the sky through his night vision, and you could see it clearly.
I'm pretty. Yeah, was this the one where it went from like I think like sea level to like 60,000 feet in like under like a second or something like that? It was some crazy story.
Yeah, well, he's actually released 2 or 3 of Navy pilots, but there was one with a triangle. He sent me that one and said this is similar to what you're dealing with. But so he told me if the Pentagon confirmed mine, that I may have to go in front of. It's a 3-letter agency. I don't remember what it's called. CID, is that correct? Does that sound familiar?
CID? Maybe. I gotta be honest. I don't think I've heard of them.
Well, it's some type of defense intelligence committee or something.
Wait, so like you would have to speak in front of like congressmen and like senators and shit?
Something like that. Some type of 3-letter agency.
Bro,
If it got confirmed through the Pentagon.
Do you own any good suits?
No, I guess I'll have to break up my dress blues and hope they fit.